There's a concept called anti-fragile about every time something like the system breaks, it just like strengthens it further.
Building resilience. And key to that for me has been shifting my thinking completely about what success is. And I think we've talked about this quote before. The purpose of life, this is real key, the purpose of life is to be defeated by greater and greater things.
When I was in the depths of dealing with my stuff, I mean, there were times where I wanted to call it all a day and, go to an island. And I mean, I really thought about it and then said, well, it doesn't matter. You can run, but it's going to follow you so just sit with it and listen and learn and process. And so absolutely. And the way you do anything is the way you do everything. I say that all the time to my clients.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inner Work. I'm MaryAnn Means-Dufrene, and I'm so excited to welcome a very special guest today, my friend Justin Mink, who is a seasoned entrepreneur and a leadership advisor, spent over 2 decades building and scaling high-growth companies from 0 to 1,000 plus employees, and then experienced a life change in 2016. And he really is, and no offense to any other guests that we've had, but really the perfect inner work guest because of his philosophy and what he's going to bring to the conversation today. So I can't wait for everybody to hear from him and about the work that he does now as an implementer in the entrepreneurial operating system, most of us know as EOS, and now as certified outgrow advisor. So Justin, welcome to Inner Work. We are so glad to have you.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on, MaryAnn.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean it completely that, we've had conversations about this and opportunities that we're talking about to collaborate, the importance of inner work and how our work and careers and being entrepreneurs brought us, in my words, I want to hear it in your words, but in my words, to the end of ourselves.
Yeah.
And forced us to reckon with some things in our lives and make a shift. So tell us a little bit about what leadership, quote unquote, looks like for you right now before we go back to this shift occurring for you.
Yeah, it's a great question. Right now, leadership to me just looks like modeling the mindset and behaviors that I want others to embody.
Mm-hmm.
Positivity, optimism, gratitude, enthusiasm, confidence, grace, thoughtfulness, patience. These are all, you told me that I could show up in any capacity, that emulating that mindset 10 years ago, it would have sounded very woo-woo to me. But I've learned through lots of trials that for both personal and professional leadership, and just how you show up and appreciate those things that are going around you from a place of calm versus desperation, it's everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Interestingly, I heard not polarities or binaries, but I heard different ends of the spectrum, like enthusiasm and calm. This a peacefulness, and then also this optimistic, energetic that you're expressing and patience. I was like, wait, patience for an entrepreneur?
I know.
That these things coexist.
Absolutely. I think there's a certain type of energy a lot of entrepreneurs have, and I certainly speak from experience here, which is this fire, this battery. And, in the past, that type of energy and ambition to me was like trying to fill a cup that was an internally empty void.
Mm.
And, today, unfortunately, certainly haven't figured it all out. I'm still growing and evolving every day. But today, it feels more like a cup that's full, and the overflow of energy is what I can offer to the world. So it's it's not trying to fill anything. It's actually trying to share.
Yeah.
And so it's a sustainable, renewable source of fuel. It's not dirty fuel. And
True.
I think just by showing up in that way, there's a like attracts like.
Yeah.
And I think people I certainly have been in a position where I've been around people like that. People want more of that in their lives. People are willing to follow leaders and commit emotionally
Mm.
versus just doing what you're told to do and going home happy you collected a check, but actually getting invested.
That's right.
I think in my experience and everything I've seen as a leadership coach, as a leader and entrepreneur, being around hundreds of leadership teams, that type of leadership is the most effective in terms of driving performance and feeling good while you're achieving those things too. Sustainable, right? Attracting, retaining the kind of talent and people that you want to surround yourselves with. Yeah.
Yeah. Generative.
Yes.
Yeah. When I meet people who have those characteristics, maybe a few of them have always been that way. That's a part of how they were raised, or it's gifting that they've had. But most people I know, like us, who want to practice, who've experienced a shift and want to practice this way, it came through hardship. It came through having done the other side of the striving and the pushing and the empty cup. Because I had that sensation talking to a leader yesterday who was in the work is never done, and I'm frustrated by that place. Which is it's the same place. It looks like the same place to everybody. It's how we're interpreting it and how we're letting our energy guide us. And so knowing for me there was a before and after. What was the before and after for you? What caused this shift for you?
Yeah. Well, to your point, I think my stories, everyone's got like a different, the inside of the box is different for everybody, but the wrapping remains the same, and that's pain is the great teacher.
Yes.
And for me, suffering was the greatest gift I've ever experienced, because I think a lot of people who don't experience that kind of suffering, that intensity and duration of suffering, they go through life with this kind of low-grade simmering anxiety,
Yeah.
level of unsatisfaction, feeling like there's something else, kind of surviving versus thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I probably would have been that guy had I not had such a reckoning. And for me, I got really sick when I was starting a company.
Mm.
Ended up getting mono or Epstein-Barr, which turned chronic and was reactivated. And, you can see I'm not like the biggest dude, but I was about 30, 35 pounds lighter than I am now at my lowest, at the Mayo Clinic for a couple weeks. Wow. Trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And it was just a struggle quite literally living in 8 to 10 pain every day for, close to a decade.
Mm.
And then, going through a real transition about trying to, as an A-type, like throwing everything at it with every ounce of energy I had, trying to get better and figure it out a full-time job. And then being disappointed when the next thing didn't work, to then calming down, getting curious, like actually getting in tune with my body and how my emotion connected with my body, and reckoning with some things that maybe I had never. The body keeps the score.
Oh, yeah.
So my body expressing some things that maybe my mind and heart wanted to repress. So
What were a couple of those things?
oh gosh, just some deep-seated depression and anger. Yeah. From probably before I could consciously remember it.
Yeah.
Family of origin, and just reckoning with that, understanding it, being conscious of it, and then the journey, the evolution of kind of peeling back layers of the onion, and at each layer letting that metabolize and process, come up and out, which was like a painful bloodletting, but man,
And
so
can't be rushed.
necessary.
There's not a shortcut through that. And to what you're expressing, I think a philosophy I have that I try not to talk to my parents about that much is that adulthood is recovery from childhood. And the best intentions that our family and society and educators and whatever, our growing up is shoving the unacceptable parts of ourself in a box. And adulthood is letting that open and through curiosity, as you mentioned, starting to allow more parts of ourselves to surface and to own them differently. And the most formative part of that healing for me, never thought would come through owning a business. But that's been the expression of my power that I had a lot of power stuffed in the box.
Mm.
And I didn't have an outlet for it. And so it kept being this destructive force for me, speaking to depression, speaking to hopelessness, this sense of I don't fit in. And building a business has been how I've started to heal and express those powerful parts of myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. When I can think about my journey, it's such a, I don't know, synchronicity of like all these parts and pieces that ultimately
Mhm.
started to harmonize
Yeah.
from a professional, personal relationship, you name it, everything sort of started to coalesce
Mhm.
together in a way that was really beautiful. Starting my own business and even the work that I chose to do as the initial business that I was focused 100% on in my practice was an EOS implementer. And
Mhm.
when you're in a room with a dysfunctional leadership team and you've got to have the courage to speak truth and put any people pleasing tendencies aside, like that was a personal evolution. So
Absolutely.
that work was a critical part of the evolution of me as a professional, but also as a human, and help
Mhm.
process some of that other stuff going on in the background too. So
That's right.
yeah, well said. And then as you evolve, and see the kind of value and impact you can make in your client's life when you fully reckon with your own shit, and then
Yeah.
that then it's like reinforcing the personal
Yep.
evolution, like sort of comes along with that. It's just like looking at it through a different lens that's really powerful when it's all working together.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm experiencing that so much right now, and I've always felt like language is so meaningful. I think that language, words, writing is gonna take on more and more of a presence as I grow collective growth. But there are 2 phrases sticking out to me right now that you just mentioned, or you just reminded me of. One, I've always thought it was so dumb, and then it's also genius. "Wherever you go, there you are." Like, that sounds really like, yeah, very, clear, obvious. Thank you, Captain Obvious, right? But there's depth there that I've started, it's kinda reverberating a little bit. And then aligned with this idea that, and I recently, I've heard about it before, but they repeated it in 10X is Easier Than 2X, and we talked about that book with, Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan, um, that, the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Mm.
Like, those 2 are, like, fighting for my attention right now, but so related. Because, like, the presence that we bring to family conflict, the presence that we bring to work, like, I became more powerful in all areas of my life through learning to handle work conflict, because I couldn't escape that. I could hide it in different areas, but it needed to be dealt with everywhere. And so, like, this way of being is a part of everything that we do. And wherever our issues are going to show up wherever we are and whatever work we're doing. And what a gift it is, and a pain in the butt, to be forced to confront these things,
Mhm.
and for work to be a vehicle for that.
100%. I mean, we are blessed and fortunate to be in a position where we can embody that, bring it to life, and
Yeah.
and demonstrate it. It's both those things you said are two things that have reverberated with me for a long time too. And in fact, when I was in the depths of dealing with my stuff, I mean, there were times where I wanted to call it all a day and, go to an island. And I really thought about it. And then said, well, it doesn't matter. You can run, but it's gonna follow you unless so just sit with it and and listen and learn and process. And so absolutely. And the way you do anything is the way you do everything. I say that all the time to my clients. Like, if there's some weird stuff happening in a meeting, I'm like, is this how it always is, guys? Is this normal?
Mhm.
Because it's so true. And man, I've been thinking about this a lot lately because just the way you show up, it shows up. You can't compartmentalize it to you're going to be the same way with every, not to be too like technical about it, but every stakeholder in your life, friend,
Yeah.
family, client, partner, colleague, coworker. You're just going to exude the same energy to anybody in your world. So it's all going to feel the same from their perspective, even if you think you're fooling them or yourself.
Right. Right. It's so true. This idea of escaping from pain, as you learn to sit with it, what changed for you?
Mm. Uh, that's really where the patience, I think, was cultivated in me. I'm not a patient person. I am very impatient. I want it all yesterday.
Which is a gift and actually needed in a lot of ways to create as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, you have to have a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but my natural orientation is to just kind of attack, like relentless. I'm like a dog on a bone, a dog on a bone. And, I ran into dead ends, and I
Mm.
realized that it was like every bet I was placing was a $10,000 hand. And if I
Hmm.
lost the bet, I got cleaned, versus just
Ooh, I
like,
feel that. Yeah.
so there's like an air of desperation and like manic energy and sort of dirty fuel
Mm.
and like getting patient and curious, sit and like forming a relationship with whatever it is that's like, what does it have to
Mm.
tell me? And like, okay, I'm listening.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And I still even today struggle with some chronic stuff but I like welcome it almost. It's like an opportunity
Mm.
to have a conversation. I know it sounds woo woo. It does. And if I had not been through this experience, I would have been like, what is this nonsense? Like, go sit in a ring of flowers and watch rainbows. But it's the God's honest truth. Like the real tangible value of evolving a mindset and a relationship and a lens upon which you view anything in the world, yourself most of all. It's a powerful thing.
And you remind me that experience is ultimately all we have. And if I can't stand my experience with myself or with something painful, or then kind of all bets are off. Like I can't, it's like this expanding the container of what I can, and suffer is a tough word because we have it so good in terms of what other people around the world are handling. But expanding the container of what you can suffer through means to me power,
Hmm.
because then things can't take me out in the same way.
Yeah.
And I align that too to I'm having to increase my tolerance for risk right now with collective
Hmm.
growth, to say we wanna scale, and therefore I need to look at different ways of financing that I've had to. We've been bootstrapped, proud to be bootstrapped.
Yeah.
And am I gonna be able to scale that way? Is that gonna take us to the level that we need to reach our goals? And so I'm able to think seriously and put together plans around things 3 years ago, my system couldn't have tolerated.
Yeah.
But it's like piece by piece, you're building up tolerance to it and belief, and it's like, what are you doing it for? You've got to have this rooting or this grounding and what the purpose of it all is. And I feel like people that would say that's woo-woo haven't had real struggle yet,
Mm.
or haven't been forced to reckon, or haven't grown old, or whatever it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
that forces us to. experience life a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they haven't had a reckoning yet.
Yet. Yeah.
Yet. And a lot of people, I think, understandably just turn away from it when the opportunity arises, and we'll run, right?
Yeah.
We'll move, we'll obfuscate, we'll distract. So I'm grateful for I wouldn't wish the level of what I went through on anybody, but
No.
man, I am grateful for it. Like,
Yeah.
truly grateful.
Well, that I would say that's part of your secret to success in this way is being open enough to allow yourself to develop gratitude. Whatever is working through you, you're allowing to work.
Yeah.
And that takes so much courage.
It's a lumpy, it is not a linear journey at all.
Lumpy, humpy, circular. Yes.
Yeah. It is like, for every time you think you've crossed to the next threshold, something's going to like knock you back.
Here it is
And you're like,
again.
okay. And every time there's like a little something to observe, to witness, to get more curious about.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's what you said about like, I forget how you phrased it, but just like making you stronger. There's a concept called anti-fragile, about every time something like the system breaks, it just like strengthens it further.
Hey noticers, if you're dreaming of glowing, healthy skin, you must try Hana Azul Korean skincare. Myung Chong has been transforming skin for 27 years with facials so good, they create the Hana Azul glow. I've been going to her med spa for years, and my skin looks better than ever. Her products use medical-grade ingredients that truly nourish your skin and keep it radiant. Visit hennaazul.com to explore her amazing products and services. That's HANNAISUL.com. Now go get your glow. Building resilience.
Mm-hmm.
And key to that for me has been shifting my thinking completely about what success is. And I think we've talked about this quote before. The purpose of life, this is Rilke, the purpose of life is to be defeated by greater and greater things. First, I thought that was the most ridiculous. But man, does that have so much power to reframe our experiences. That instead of going from, because at least I was taught, I think a lot of us are, everything that I do, I should get 100 in or really close to it. And if there's not, there's room for improvement. But if you get a 70, like, don't know if you're going to get there. Look at maybe a different career path, instead of what there is to learn in all of these things and to celebrate the learnings. And I really am trying to build that into our philosophy at Collective Growth, where we assume whatever, and of course we want our clients to love and appreciate the product, but we're going to assume internally, and we're going to share with them too, that we're in draft stages, we're in iterations, we are finding the thing that fits, and we learn from every effort so that we can best meet the needs.
Yeah.
Because in some ways, every client is different, and in some ways, every client is the same. And so using infrastructure, using what we know to be true, using theory as the foundation, and then allowing for people to surprise us and for organizations to have different needs and subtleties and nuances and all these things that, with the complexity of life, we should really stay on our toes.
Mm-hmm.
And continually learning is a great way to keep from getting discouraged by that.
Yeah. Well, just that reminds me of a great quote. Systemize the predictable so you can humanize the exceptional.
Okay, again.
Systemize the predictable so you can humanize the exceptional.
That's great.
Isidore Sharp, founder of the Four Seasons. So
nice. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his context.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, systems are becoming more and more, and I think that's natural in evolution of the business, and going through iterations, you start to see repetition, you start to see systems.
Yeah. Yeah.
And wanting to expand that.
Yeah.
And
Leaving room
that's
for creativity, right? And
right.
innovation. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you approach that with EOS,
Yeah.
knowing that you have so much creativity, yet you're operating within, I don't know, is it a rigid system? Tell
It's
us.
a framework, right, with guardrails.
Yeah.
Um, every EOS implementer is a teacher, facilitator, and a coach. The teaching part is the process. It's the IP, right? It's every implementer from the one who comes out of boot camp and has their first session to Gino, who's done Lord knows how many thousands, right? We're all teaching the same stuff in the same cadence. It's the coaching and facilitation that is where the creativity lies,
Yeah.
and the experience and the pattern recognition and the reps and
Mhm.
the creativity, innovation, understanding how to manage energy, team dynamics,
Yeah.
team health, dysfunction,
Mhm.
bringing holding space, bringing truth to the light, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. That's where all the creativity in this line of
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
manifests. Yeah,
Yet you don't get paid more for that.
you do.
You do. Tell
Yes,
us. Okay.
because every implementer sets their own rate, and it's
Okay.
funny. I just had this conversation. It's been on my mind lately. I wouldn't have known this when I was just getting started 4 years ago, but EOS is now such a enough of a brand where there are bake-offs, right? So,
Mhm.
and by that I mean someone's interested in working with an implementer, and they'll interview 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And if I was in that client's shoes, you might look at 3 people and say, well, they're all teaching the same stuff. This
Mhm.
person's charging X, this person's Y. I can save a little bit of money by going with X.
Yeah.
Put good money behind good money, because the value is that facilitation and coaching, and that only and that level of experience and
Yeah.
effectiveness is gonna, like, be exponential in terms of the progress you can make as a team.
Yeah.
So,
I
you do
believe
get
that.
paid for it if the client recognizes the value in that, right?
But you have to tell the story,
Yeah.
which
And it
goes
shows
to
up. It's pretty
yeah,
obvious too, right? The presence,
sure. Yeah.
between someone who's and there's no way to fake it. When you get started, you look at the people who've been doing this for a long time, you're like, "Oh, I wish I could why can't I just fake it till I make it and have that level of self-possession and awareness and presence and confidence?" But there is no rushing it. You just
That's
have to
right.
have the reps and experience. Yeah.
Exactly right. That's how I feel about where we are with collective growth is I'm doing things that made me shudder 5 years ago to think,
Yeah.
but what was new then becomes normal. When you're working with normal and then you're developing wisdom around it, then you're able to think differently. It's like becoming a master artist, which I know nothing about, by the way. But
Mm.
but I understand that you learn to paint in the classical ways and master that in order to innovate. And I
Yeah.
think what we're trying to do is similar, but and then it reminds me too of um, you know, there's a whole system built around it. Can't remember entrepreneur something where we begin a craft because of a particular skill set, and then we end up having to run a business, which we may not do that well. So
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
idea of, what Justin really wants to do, and I don't you probably want to do many things, but one of the things is be there in the space, help people as you were just so eloquently saying, get through the stumbling blocks that keep us from implementing, from focusing on the business and build and reduce friction in teams and all those sorts of things, which it takes so much skill to do. But then to win that business, you have to do all these other things and to run the business and to hire people and do it's like, but pursuing that path makes us more well-rounded, calls us into or we figure out how to delegate everything, which I'm working on too.
It's an evergreen effort.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's right. If anybody wants a path of ongoing development and something that will bring you to your knees, start a business.
No kidding.
So yeah, all those folks that are like, I don't think I've hit rock bottom. Yeah, I don't think I've had a reckoning. Well,
Yeah.
we have a solution for you.
Yes. Yes. Stand up your LLC today. Yeah.
That's right.
Passion. Yeah. Burn the boats.
That's right. Click this link.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let the let the journey begin.
Right.
Oh, okay. So, um, and by the way, I know there's much more literature and research on the science of chronic pain,
Yeah.
and that in and of itself, Justin, is such a journey, and I respect how you've approached that and worked through it. Dang.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is that is it something that's in the rearview mirror now? Is it truly chronic? How are you dealing with all of that now?
Yeah. I literally just had a conversation with my wife about this last night. There will be times, this is going to sound weird. I never told her this before. Um, this is going to sound crazy, but it's true. And there's science behind this. There's actually a book about it called, I think a New Way Out or something like that,
Mm.
where when you have chronic pain, you sort of dive into it and explore it and observe it almost like you're watching a fireworks show. And there are times I've told my wife, like, you know, that one night somebody's like going to bed and they like can't sleep because they're in so much pain and they talk about it for years. They're like, oh, that one night 5 years ago, I can't, like, that's been my night for 10 years.
Mhm.
uh, and I've gotten to have such a relationship with that level of pain that I don't know if it's actually lessened, if the actual physical sensation itself, the volume is turned down, or if it's just my relationship with it. But there will be nights where I dive so deeply in it, it puts me to sleep. It like lulls me to sleep. And then if I can't get to sleep, I wake up at 3 in the morning, I can't get to sleep, and I'm not in pain. I'm like, oh, I wish the pain would come back so I could dive into it and fall asleep. Like
Whoa.
I don't even really fully understand it myself, MaryAnn,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
uh, it's not all the time like that. But yeah, it's just a relationship,
Mm.
and then it starts to become less of a presence in your life. And when you start forgetting about it, it starts to go away.
Well, and that it's like normalizing, when things become pervasive, right? And this whole idea of no one wishes that. But if it's what you have, how else do you deal with it?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
you're committed to your family, you're committed to rising above, you're committed to growing a business. It's like you have to, there's no other way but to manage it.
yeah.
And I don't know if I think subliminate is a word. It's like you have to subliminate it.
It's a pretty good. Yeah, I never thought of it, but that's a good way to describe it. Yeah,
Like it's a much more extreme level of what I'm working with the kids on right now, which I hope is not toxic positivity,
mm,
but they get disappointed by stuff all the time. Like, um, Margot always wants me to be the one to take her to school, but Matt takes her most days. If he's taking her, I get her ready. If I'm taking the kids, Matt's getting them ready. So if I say good morning to her and she starts crying, oh, and she's 3, right? So what do I want us? This is me pushing her in a box, right?
eh,
If we go back, like your complaints are disrupting my morning because I am positive and cheerful. And so you need to put your unhappiness in the box because I can't
yeah,
tolerate it. I mean, if I'm in all honesty, that's part of what is happening for me. But then also my cheerfulness and my ability to handle stuff has taken me a long way.
yeah,
So how do I build this in my kids? But for Margot, I say, I know that that you want mommy to take you to school, and I would love to do that too. And I'm going to be able to do it on this day, but today it's not going to happen. So there's not any point in crying about it.
yeah,
What could you be excited about? Let's pick something like, do you want to pick your shoes? Do you want to pick your socks? Maybe I'm training her to be a 7, and now she's just riding like one addiction to the next. I don't know.
Nobody gets out unscathed. It
Right?
sounds like you're doing a pretty awesome job.
But and so I'm trying to get her to subliminate, to
Yeah,
acknowledge. I want her to acknowledge it. Yeah, it's disappointing. You prefer it this way. And that idea of preference has been really powerful for me. Lori, oh gosh, I'm blanking on her last name. One of my coaches who was a coach with me in Stagen, Darley, um, brought up this idea of preference that, yeah, it may not be this particular way. Your preference is for it to be another way. that's okay. We don't always get our preference.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that kind of like, oh, those things just shift. It's what language I feel like is, and experimenting with language and talking about things differently can be so powerful for us.
Yeah.
But you are in that having to subliminate in a way that most of us don't ever have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the truth. Have you ever heard of Phil Stutz?
No.
The like the psychologist to the stars. Really interesting guy. He's written some books. I forget the names of them, but there's a documentary on Netflix about him. That's Stutz. Anyway, uh, he says there are three certainties in life that nobody can avoid: uh, pain, pain, work, and uncertainty.
Hmm.
That's life. So it's
Mhm.
how you deal with pain,
Yeah.
uncertainty,
Mhm.
and work.
Yeah.
And acknowledging that and working with it is the best you can do to have a happy life.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that in those, the pain, the work, and the uncertainty are what create the sweetness too. Because when we have relief from those things, it feels so good.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
And then quickly we get back into the pain, uncertainty, and work.
Right. Right. Come up for air for a moment. See the sun
Yeah.
and dive back down. Yeah.
Yeah. But that, that goes back to generativeness and sustainability, and that it's being able to do this. And I think early years for me, it was this.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more wisdom I gain, the more self-regulation I gain, the more I'm able to even those out. And, I probably would have said, "Yeah, I don't want that because I want the highs to be high and I want to feel alive. I don't want to feel." And now I'm like, no, I really feel alive and I feel great when I have that high, but I'm more tolerant and able to keep myself steady.
Yeah. Equanimity.
Equanimity. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Equilibrium.
Yep.
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 So for you now, so you're truly chronic pain, that you reach out to and have a relationship with and acknowledge, and that's part of acceptance, right? Which is another big component of just how we're gonna acknowledge and approach life and use it for growth. And so you're able to continue focusing on growing your business, focus on your family, and what's next for you? What's the next chapter as you continue growing in EOS and in outgrow your newer venture?
Yeah. I think outgrow is sort of a natural evolution and professional and personally for me, it's about helping clients systematically, predictably grow revenue, 15-30% clock by clockwork every year by proactively reaching out to all the people most businesses are not talking to enough, and that's your current customers.
Mhm.
And having realizing not that you're trying to uncover pain and position yourself as the only one who can solve it, but realizing the great value and impact that you make in the lives of your clients, and realizing that it's not about selling, it's about showing up, being present, being helpful,
Mm.
being interested, being curious,
Yeah.
and asking, how else can I help? Letting them know all the different ways you can help them.
Mhm.
Asking who else can you help like you help them. And so there's the positive psychology around it
Mhm.
that helps, because a lot of sales initiatives fail when people want to do it, but they just get afraid of rejection,
Right.
afraid of interrupting. And so helping change the lens of this dirty word of selling too. I have an obligation to
Yeah.
help my customers more and to save them from doing work with the guys that aren't as good as we are. So it's like, it is all about relationships, confidence, optimism, positivity, enthusiasm, and ultimately when this project actually turns into a culture inside the four walls of my clients, it's like not only does their revenue grow, but like the whole vibe shifts.
Yeah.
And so that work is very attuned where I am personally in life. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. As you turned toward building a different stream of revenue and in serving people as a outgrow advisor. What was different in your approach? What, 4 years later? How many years later since you started as an EOS implementer?
Yeah. Well, I use outgrow in my own business, and that's how I discovered I used it in my EOS practice. And
Mhm.
so like realizing the value that I bring into the lives of my clients and anybody in my world and showing up accordingly,
Yeah.
not with arrogance, not being cocky, but being bold,
Mhm.
uh, and real, just and offering the help, being really curious and present, not having this like outcome that I'm trying to drive, but just being present
Yeah.
and letting the results take care of themselves with that level of curiosity and presence. Like that's how I run my business. That's how I teach my clients. That's how I show up in life now. So yeah,
Mm. It sounds like it's based on acceptance and faith to me that the right thing is going to happen. And there's this perspective of being a vessel. And the clients who need me, the people who need me will be there. Yes, I do hard work, right? And show up in a particular way. But this acknowledgement that I can't necessarily control the outcome, I'm going to trust that the right things are going to happen.
100%. Yeah, all you can do is
That
show up.
is woo woo. If there's anything anybody
But it's the
listening,
truth.
what
It's very
it's
Taoist too. It's
it's
like
it, yeah.
stop swimming upstream. Just go with the flow
Yeah.
and stop fighting. Start flowing with that. I know people are gonna listen to this and be like,
Those two.
these two need to go like smoke a peace pipe together. But it shows up, man. It's tangible. It's
It does.
material.
It does.
And yeah,
It's the only way I found I can manage my anxiety,
yeah,
honestly, is to say, I'm not in control. I'm in complete acceptance around, I want to focus both on efforts and on results, doing the things that will create results, but I can't close that gap
yeah,
myself. And so I'm going to trust that the people and trying, so from a purpose perspective, if it's just to make money, forget about it. It's who is going to be impacted by this. How do we turn, and this is especially relevant for you, how do we turn our pain into something that can serve other people and help other people grow?
yeah. Well, and you know what? It's happening in a real material way too. Not only the business growing, but I'm starting to pare away my half clients and build more elf. Half client is a hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. Elf is easy, lucrative, and fun. So
Oh, yeah.
being around those elf clients actually is like energizing versus, the half clients
Absolutely. The
that
ideal
like,
client is, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
that's great.
yeah,
Yeah, the I'm not there yet where I don't want to say that. I don't want to, because I don't want to keep it out there, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
have not yet said no to business.
yeah,
I figure out a way to make it work because revenue. Because
yeah. Of
revenue.
course, yeah, it's a
But
necessity, right?
that
It's awesome.
idea, and it's the strengths-based approach, right? The more you focus on what you do well, the better results you're gonna have. The more you focus on clients and building relationships and seeking out more ideal clients or elf clients, to use your language, the better work you're gonna do. The more you're fueled, the more it becomes sustainable. It's like, let's do the stuff that works.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. So for the people who think that we're woo woo off the chain, what would you offer them?
Uh, that's a really good question. Um, Whatever you're going through in life, that's a struggle right now. And we all are, right? There's nobody immune to that. I just get curious about it and spend some time with it and see how that affects you and your mindset and your perspective and in turn then how that impacts performance and results. So, sit with yourself and see what you have to learn, and
Yeah.
you'll find out firsthand
Yeah,
how woo or how real this stuff is. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. That so we'll make sure to add the hashtag sit with yourself.
Yes.
I like it.
Good one.
I like it. I like to close out hearing from the guest, the Justin Mink, a book that you recommend, a value that you live by, and a practice that keeps you doing the inner work. So
Book I-
start with a book.
A book I recommend. I'm reading one right now. The Relentless Elimination of Hurry. Great one. Which is about how, in this world of constant rush, it keeps us away from ourselves, from our family, from our relationship, from God, if we just constantly in that state of rush. So it's really resonating with me right now.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Person who thinks that we're woo-woo, that might be the book that you need to read.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. What was the next one on the list?
The next one is a value that you live by.
A value that I live by. Whew, that's a tough one. Empathy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Having empathy.
I feel that.
Like
For
no matter
ourselves,
what.
too.
What's that?
For ourselves too.
Oh, yeah. That's starting with ourselves. And then, and then everyone we're around. Right.
Yeah. And a practice that keeps you doing the inner work.
Taking care of my body. Yeah. Like making sure it's a priority.
Mm-hmm. It has to be.
Yeah.
It should be for all of us, but particularly for you.
Yeah. Like making time to take care of my body. If I don't do that, everything else starts to like fall apart.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's wisdom in that, my friend.
Yeah.
No. Thank you so much, Justin, for joining Inner Work. So I knew this was going to be such an incredible conversation. Thank you for all that you do, for the many clients that you help, for being a great friend. And I'll get to talk to you soon. And everybody, please like and share Inner Work. Please tell everybody about Justin Mink and his work at EOS and how amazing he is. And we'll see everybody soon.
Thank you, MaryAnn. Appreciate you.